I've been a student and practitioner of meditation for the last 30 years. In particular, though, the last 10 years I've been guiding meditation courses for people on average about 10 days in silence, and many hours of meditation. And I've sat through every one of those courses, through every one of those sessions. There was one I missed because I got sick in the middle of it, but other than that, and I've conducted, this was course number 88 that I had guided. Plus I did another 10-day meditation courses prior to that, Darkpasana courses. So I've been at this for a while, and somebody asked me a while back, well, how many hours do you think you've meditated? I went back and thought about it, kind of calculated, well over 10,000 hours for sure by now in meditation. So I've been at this for a while.
I've been meditating regularly for about 10 years and found the Vipassana practice 3 years ago. In Indonesia, I sat a Goenka 10-day silent meditation course. And everything changed for me after that. And about a year afterwards, I was invited to attend a Darkpasana course here in Ashland with Jorge. And it was just an incredible experience. And I found out what I could do to come to more courses. And I've been to 20 in the last 2 years. 20, 10 to 30-day courses.
So we've been playing with the format over the years. At the core of the Darkpasana practice is a deeply rooted, very simple meditation practice, insight meditation or Vipassana meditation. That doesn't change. That stays the same. But we play around the edges with trying different things. We introduced yin yoga at one point and that kind of stuff, and that's become part of the practice. Now we introduce certain playlists, certain kind of music that's very inspirational, that become very helpful. We've done kids courses, we've done couples courses, we did a spa course where everybody was just it was almost like living in a spa but doing 10-day meditation. And this was just something that I've been wanting to try for several years. And this was the perfect time, which is, let's see what happens when we do this work in complete darkness. And so we thought we'd go and explore it.
Well, darkness felt like the next logical thing to play with. An opportunity to create a set of time, 10 days, where we would be completely inward in a way, even through our breaks of meditation.
What I wanted to do was I wanted to know what it's like to spend time in absolute darkness. We rarely ever in modern life have complete darkness. It's very rare. And to be able to give yourself even that momentarily, there's some value in that. But to go into it in an extended period of time with a meditation practice, well, let's see what happens. Let's just go explore. It's like taking a trip. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're taking the trip. And that's how this was.
It was a curiosity. We've been doing this inner work, and I have gained just so much from our Vipassana practice, from the meditation practice, from what it takes to commit to a 10-day course of up to 10 hours a day in closed-eyed practice, has revealed parts of myself to myself that I'm able to then effortlessly let go. And that has had profound impacts in my life. Indescribable impact in my life. And what would it be like to never be distracted by my visual experience for 10 days? What's possible?
Yeah, one thing I would add to that is we are taught to be escape artists. Our entire society is driven around escaping ourselves, around distracting ourselves. And pretty much almost every distraction has some visual component to it. And when you remove all visual components, you're removing the vast majority of the things you distract yourself with. And now you're sitting there with yourself. So, it's next level for people who are deep into meditation to really remove the visuals for an extended period of time. The first day was like going on an adventure. We were a little giggly, a little excited, a little unsure, bumping into things, not sure what was going to happen, but with a sense of excitement, with a sense of, this is really cool, and so the first day goes fairly quickly and fairly smoothly, settling into what that experience is, but mostly just checking things out, and a bit like a kid in awe and wonder of this thing. It's very, very different than anything you've ever experienced. So.
I remember we were getting ready to go into darkness, and we're planning to go into darkness at night, right? To blow out the final candle. And that day, getting ready, getting all our stuff ready, felt like preparing for a big trip. It felt like getting ready to go, like Burning Man or something, but actually more like outer space. I felt like little astronauts packing up all our necessary snacks and the items that might bring us comfort. But it was really, really exciting.
Day 2, as I've mentioned before, I've guided almost 90 of these meditation courses, and one of my experiences is generally day 2 of these meditation courses is where resistance comes up for people. Day 1, like I was saying, you're checking things out, you're getting your bearings, seeing what this thing's all about, there's some excitement. Day 2, you're in it, and you got 8 days to go. And day 2 was really hard for me, really tough, because my eyes kept wanting to see, and they couldn't, and there was some strain in that, and everything is difficult, everything is tougher when suddenly you just can't see. The simple act of brushing your teeth becomes a great act of mindfulness. You can set something down 3 inches away from you, and if you forgot where you put it down, that thing could be lost. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who have stories, who have lost sight and everything they've gone through. That's kind of what we went through. It's like you just, on an immediate basis, you lose your sight, and now you have to navigate life. So day two was tough. This was difficult for me. It's like, oh, do I really want to do this? This is a lot, and it's a lot of work, and why do we have to do it this way, and so on. So I went through a lot of the resistance, which was very useful for me, because when I guide courses, people are having this experience, and this allows me to have more compassion for them. This allows me to have a better sense of what they're going through to help guide them through the tough days.
Day 2, I felt an edge. I felt my edge day 2, and was able to commit. Something helped me was committing to comfort, committing to being comfortable and safe, and oh wow, we had really kind of decked out our suite with like a lot of fuzzy blankets and an epic 8-foot beanbag chair. Our meditation stations have a biomat on them, a woolly, double layer foam mattress, a She machine. Those things really helped and it wasn't just day 2. I had my edge a couple times doing this. Just like, what? Part of me, and a not insignificant, a big part of me, was able to delve into the comfort and just realize this is an opportunity for comfort, for healing, to focus on stretching or cuddling or meditating or even going to brush your teeth became this playful adventure. I've spent a lot of my life in varying degrees of emotional torment and misery. And I think that really helped because I was able to appreciate the comfort. I was able to focus on the areas that were comfortable about the experience. And having spent so much time in silent meditation courses, especially in the last 2 years, I'm used to having to sit patiently while my edge comes up, while I just feel sometimes really out of my comfort zone, really uncomfortable. I think that created a really good foundation for doing this practice for me.
And it also helped that we had each other. We gave ourselves a pass on a number of things. We didn't schedule the meditations. We gave ourselves a pass on talking because there's a certain level of communication between us that we just felt needed to happen for this first time. Mm-hmm. And it's a big experience, and being able to talk and comfort each other and hold each other and spend hours and hours a day cuddling. That was extremely valuable and helpful to us in this experience. From day 3 on, it sort of starts to blur together. I think the first couple of days are pretty well pronounced. The last day, of course, a lot of different things start to happen. That a lot of different types of experiences started to occur. And I started falling more into an ease of being in the darkness. I started becoming more comfortable bumping into things less and being able to do things effectively. I was actually really, it's kind of cool, I'd be doing things and I said something down and I remembered exactly where I had set that down, and then I decide to go across the room, and if you get out into the middle of the room and you're not touching a wall or a dresser or something, you don't know where you are, you can be hopelessly lost.
That's a feeling.
That's a feeling. A lot of getting lost, at least early on. But I got to a point where I could just kind of point myself, walk straight across the room, and generally know where things are going to go, but that doesn't always work.
By day 9 and 10, I just hear you walk straight across the room from one point to another.
The whole thing was very profound, and it's hard to say what's more profound than anything else, especially at this point, because I'm still integrating. I've been out a couple of days, and there's a lot of integration that happens afterwards. I think a month from now I might have a better sense about that. But the things that are most memorable to me is, first of all, there's a lot, people make a lot out of the mystical experience. There's a lot of mystical experiences that happen in meditation, that happen with psychedelics, that happen with vision quests, that happen with climbing mountains, that happen with all of these various things. And this is one experience that does yield a lot of mystical or psychedelic type experiences. We have to be careful not to make too much of it or make that a goal or an objective or think that that's what this is about. It's just another experience. It's these mystical and psychedelic types of experiences are actually quite ordinary and common once you've had them and once you've had them enough, and you realize that anybody can have them. And so as I describe some of these experiences, I want to be careful to not make too much of what that is or even what it means or any of those things, because it's best to just let those things be and let your inner wisdom guide you through, instead of trying to figure out what everything means, and now your life has changed, and now you're going to do things different because you've had this vision. I think you will, but not because you've had this mental projection about it. So experiences. I'd say, the thing that most comes to mind is I spent probably the better part of the last 4 or 5 days having really deep, clear, precise memories of a particular era of my childhood. It wasn't my whole life passing before before my eyes. It was probably about a 5 to 6 year period that came up strong. Big. It was almost as though I was there. The details were so precise. The feelings, the smells, the sounds, the sights, everything is. I was like I was in that place. And I've had these types of memories in meditation before. These types of experiences where I can feel things so precisely and be in it. But what was different about this one for me was I could experience myself from the outside. Generally, my memories have been of me experiencing something in the past, me experiencing out here. This was me taking a perspective on me slightly from one step removed. I could see myself. I could see what I was wearing. I could see how my clothes were. I could feel what this little boy was like and what his energy was like and how he dealt with whatever situations came up. And that was really great. I just couldn't wait to go back to, if we were eating or doing something, go back and just kind of lay there and just let these memories just rush in. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. It turns out this period of time was from probably second grade through about sixth grade. And I did fifth grade twice, so that's 6 years. And those were incredibly formative years for me in terms of determining lifelong patterns of behavior and reactions that have guided me and defined much of who I am through most of my life in a completely unconscious way. Just unaware of, well, this happened and this is who I am and this is how I was and this is the reason I am this way now. The things that serve me and the things that I feel like don't serve me at times. All of it. And I was able to really see and experience myself in a really, it was wonderful. My time in Mexico growing up and all of the things that happened, my family, my friends, my schools, my teachers, all of it just coming up. So that was probably the most, the one that comes to mind most. The other side of this is, I don't know if, when you read about people who have these darkness retreats or who go through these experiences, they talk about what they call a DMT release. And DMT is a molecule of hormone that resides in your pineal glands and of your brain that what they say is it's released at the time of death, for example. And a lot of the experiences of people who have near-death experiences, people claim that that's basically the DMT release that's creating that psychedelic experience, that tunnel, the light, all of the visuals, all those things. And so I was curious to see whether or not, I didn't have any expectations around it. And I forget what day it was, probably 6 or 7. I was up all night, most of the night, and it started coming on. I started seeing the fractals. There's an excellent documentary called DMT, The Spirit Molecule. I don't know if you've seen it. Okay. And I started experiencing the tunnel. By the way, one of the things that really kicked that into place was Wim Hof breath. I would get into a particular yin yoga pose and do Wim Hof breath, and then doing the part of the Wim Hof breath where you're holding your breath out. Normally I have a visceral type of experience, and I've had visual type of experiences, but this joined all of it. This made it a more complete experience, and I was able to dive into the tunnel and consciously, with some level of awareness, going deeper. And I got to a point where I was in so deep I got scared. I go, whoa, okay, no. I think I'm just going to back off of this, but that was cool. And I was able to. Melissa was in bed in the next room. I went and laid down with her and just got a little grounded and came down a little bit. Then it was either the next night or the night after that. visual. There's a lot of visual things that happen during these courses. You're in complete darkness, but you're seeing lights and you're seeing flashes and you're seeing shadows, all kinds of things. Your eyes are playing tricks on you constantly. And I was up and I was late and I was meditating and I saw a little tiny bit of light, that wasn't real. It was coming from within. And I just dove into it. I was just, okay, let's go into that light. And I was just going deeper and deeper. And then it started coming towards me, and then it started taking geometric shapes, and then it started enveloping me. And then it's not as though you're in a tunnel, you are the tunnel. It's not as though you're hearing the sound of the DMT experience. You are it, you're experiencing, you're feeling. And that's a lot of what my meditation practice allowed me to do, is to just feel my way through this experience and dive in. And I broke through a portal or a membrane or something to the other side that people describe as what happens when they do DMT. And then I got scared. I got in there and I said, it's okay. I could get stuck here for the next X number of days, and I don't think so. I'm gonna pass on this for the time being. But it was, that was pretty cool. So those were the two primary types of experiences outside of the more mundane things that really come to mind when I think about those 10 days.
I was also curious about the DMT experience, and for me, the 10 days were pretty gentle, for the most part, and really, Jorge, it's the experience. It's both wild and extremely adventurous. No visual, just black, except whatever light is in the back residual in your retina or that your mind's creating. And simultaneously completely mundane. The most boring thing you've ever done. Mm-hmm. Simultaneously. It's both the most exciting thing and the most boring thing you've ever done simultaneously in every moment. Yes. Pretty much. And some of the subtle things I experienced was seeing there would be shadows in my vision. I would be walking around the room and my mind would recreate the boundaries of the room as if there were shadows and light and little, almost like there was an archway, but maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. Sometimes it would be accurate, sometimes it wasn't. I started to realize that there's this shadow layer of my perception that's 100% inside. That is not is at least not my optical nerve taking in data. It's something inside that's creating a layer. And it occurred to me that based on my mood, for example, we were talking about those moments you'd be lost. You maybe you're an inch away from the wall or an inch away from a bookshelf, but for long enough you'd been searching, you couldn't find anything, and there'd be a moment where I realized I didn't know where I was, and I didn't know what was in front of me, I didn't know what was around me, I didn't know if there were any dangers, and sometimes I would experience my mind would get really dark and it would be almost like I was sinking. Like this almost a deep fear, a deep lostness, and it would change the patterns or the shadow in my vision. And so I think that brings some awareness to my mood or my experience in any moment, maybe affecting what I'm seeing visually. Right? I may have a different visual experience because of the emotions that I'm feeling. That may be affecting me in the daylight as well. When we're walking around a room every once in a while, and it's happened to Jorge a few times too. I think you just described that light, but for me, I experienced just this little crystal of light in the door leading into our bedroom. And I had my eye mask on. It's totally dark, but there's this crystal, and if I moved closer to it, I could see it in more precise detail, as if it was in my external reality. Although there's just no way that I was witnessing light in my external reality. So my mind was creating a light as if it were my external reality.
What our meditation practice teaches you to do is to be in equanimity and acceptance with whatever's happening. To realize that whatever's happening are just sensations and vibrations that you're experiencing. There's just really nothing more. And so when these things start to come up, then you go into your practice and you observe and say, oh, here's what I'm feeling. Here's what that feels like, and I'm just going to allow it to do its thing. I'm not going to try to control it or stop it or back off or push deeper into it. But I was pushing deeper into it, and then I had to back off. But luckily my meditation practice has made me strong enough in my mind to be able to not go into some kind of freak out mode or terror or something when something like that happens, where you literally feel like you just lost all of who you are, all of your humanity, all of yourself is just stripped away, and now there's just this, I don't even know what to call it, but that can be a scary moment when there's a part of you that's still trying to hang on to your humanity and it's all being rapidly stripped away. So, my meditation practice allows me to go deeper into those experiences, but it also allows me to have the skills to draw back out when I need to.
The most challenging part of the experience, I have an edge that I hit both in the 10-day meditation courses and came up here again. And honestly, all it is a part of me that, for whatever reason, probably doesn't want to see myself clearly, doesn't want to be exposed, doesn't want to keep doing the practice that's going to reveal myself to me. And that piece of me attacks the practice. It's like, I don't want to sit still with my eyes closed, or in this case, it didn't matter, but I don't want to be in darkness, like just for no reason, no rational reason, because the truth is, when I was just witnessing myself, which was most of the time during this process, my mind was calmer, my body was calmer, my thoughts, I was only having, it felt like several thoughts a day. My mind was pretty clear and relaxed. And all I could see, and who knows what's on the other side of this, is this one part of myself and my ego, whatever, just saying, like, get out! Abandon ship! You don't want to be here! And in the context that happening, a part of me, and a fairly small part of me happening in the context of, for the most part, overwhelming peace and comfort and general satisfaction with the experience.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing for me. Overall, a comfortable, deep, meaningful experience with some challenges, and the main challenge for me was just being blind. That's it. You take that out of it, and it was wonderful. Yeah. We took a lot of care to do this in a way that was very nurturing. Mm-hmm. We had biomats, we had chi machines, we had a jetted tub, we did ice baths, we did steam showers, we had a giant bean bag, we had each other. And it was overall a really nurturing, comforting, deep experience. Not same time, I was ready to come out. There was a lot of deep connection between us during this time. We were saying that every married couple should start with 10 days in darkness, in silence, really get to know the essence of each other. It's really wonderful when you spend time with someone, you just have touch and sound, because we were talking, and you strip away so many things and you go into a deeper level of connection. And that was really sweet for me. That was wonderful for us to just have only each other without any distractions 24/7 for 10 days, and be doing all the things that we love, and be caring and nurturing each other through this time. That was pretty epic, in addition to the other pieces. I'd say it'd be really good to get grounded in some practice that allows you to really draw in and be at ease and be in comfort with yourself for extended periods of time. I think that's key. Having a partner is wonderful. That said, if you're going to be doing this as a couple, or with a partner or with a friend, make sure that at that moment in time your relationship is in a good place. And relationships go through cycles and different things, and make sure you're in a good one. There's enough to deal with, and you side yourself with this without having to bring up all of your stuff between you as a couple. We started this in a really, really good place, and we got through it beautifully between the two. There were a couple of moments where, but I could see very clearly at that moment that a couple who is having issues or problems in communication or dealing with particular things with each other, it's probably not wise that they go into 10 days of darkness together. This is not necessarily a good place to process that. I think it's best if in that situation you do it by yourself. If you're going to do it by yourself, once again, make sure you're in a good place in your mind. Make sure that you feel good about yourself and good about your life and good about where things are, and that you're not having terrors and frightening dreams and nightmares and things, because this will bring all that up. So just be aware of that. I would say make sure you're in a good place. Make sure you have a good support group. And make sure that you take time and care to set it up. And I think it'd be useful for us to spend a little time talking about the various details that are important to set up properly before you go into one of these courses. But be mindful about how you set it up, and get comfortable. Get as comfortable as you can during this time.
What really helped me was the emphasis on comfort, the emphasis on like a playful intention and attitude going into it. And I witnessed there's a part of me that runs from the comfort, runs from the self-care, and having enough opportunities for that when you go in helped me when I was seeking distraction to instead go into my self-care, go into find comfort, prioritize just self-compassion and caring. I think that's valuable.
First, and most importantly, make sure that all sources of light are eliminated. And it's hard to believe how many little lights there are in our lives. If I look around this room right now, there are little blinking lights and things that are on all over the place. And it takes a while to. So make sure that no light gets in, because if there's even a little bit of light, your attention will be drawn to it. And we will go ahead.
Well, you'll need to let your eyes adapt to the darkness. You'll need to let it get dark and then let your eyes for a pretty long time. We, all the way into day 2, were finding little pinpricks of light that we just couldn't see on day 1. It's like we just couldn't see them until we'd been in darkness for 24 hours, and it's like, whoa, there's a light, there's a light, there's a light. So be mindful about, especially if you're setting up your own space. We had a drawer, and in that drawer was just a roll of duct tape. And we knew where that was, and we always put it back. And, the first couple of days you're going through and duct taping things and making sure that all the light is gone.
Remove any hazards, anything that can fall, anything that can be knocked over, anything that can break. If you break some glass in the middle of this, that's not wise for all the obvious reasons. We padded a number of different corners. We used these thick yoga mats and padded corners and baseboards and edges and things that we might run into. We had simple and nutritious food that we both really like, that is easy to consume, that doesn't require any preparation, for one thing, for all our snacks. So we kept a couple of drawers full of little snacks, and some trail mix and some vegan jerky for Melissa and some regular jerky for me, and protein bars and things that will give you comfort and that will take care of you when you're needing to be fed without you having to call for help or go through a lot of hassle. We were brought one meal a day by people, and those meals also need to be prepared in a way that's simple and can be eaten easily.
Yeah.
Because you can make a big mess.
You got to be mindful about the presentation of the meals, otherwise, like one day we had salsa on the side, and my fingers just kept getting in salsa. It was useless because I didn't even know where the thing was to put the salsa on.
Yeah, and one day I had a rice with...
the rice. We spilled the rice.
Yeah, the rice container was filled to the brim, and I was supposed to scoop this out and put it in, I think I was having curry or something.
Yeah, trying to eat
rice and curry in complete darkness when you've not done this before, it's not easy. So I spilled rice all over the place. And so when you're gonna have a place to eat, always eat in the same place. Never take your food somewhere else, and make sure that that's a place that people can come and clean up.
Yeah, I was grateful. We ended up eating in the hall, which we had also darkened, but our assistant had access to for cleaning. And I'm so grateful because every time we walked into our room, it smelled fresh. It felt fresh, and that was important to me. And also, there was one time, I think, when the rice spilled, apparently some ants had camped. I would say make sure that doesn't happen. Make sure you to the extent possible, you're sealed off from insects or anything that might cause any fears in your mind.
And when you're blocking out light, you are often also blocking out oxygen or airflow. And so the whole room was completely sealed. Luckily, we had a vent that we ran the vent through the HVAC, and we had that running 24/7 to keep fresh air coming in. Fresh air is essential during this. And the other main thing about this is just general mindfulness. People talk about mindfulness all the time, and we teach mindfulness through meditation, and you learn to be more mindful in many things and more present. Nothing will amp up your mindfulness more than suddenly becoming blind.
It's incredible. One thing we did to prepare that really worked out was we basically emptied all of our drawers, emptied everything, and then just mindfully put exactly the items, and usually just one item per drawer. So you could feel around, feel which drawer it was, know that item was going to be in that drawer. And it was this beautiful mindfulness activity because that item needs to go back in its drawer before it goes anywhere else. You cannot set down the duct tape on your way to get something else and then expect that you're going to get the duct tape.
That duct tape's gone.
It's gone. So if you take the duct tape and you go close a patch, you need to immediately, when you finish, go back to the drawer it came from and put it away.
And that could take you 10 minutes.
Which is a commitment. But what else are you doing? So you become really patient.
Yeah.
I mean, to the extent you're looking for distractions, putting the duct tape back in the drawer is a delightful activity.
Gives you something to do. Yeah.
But you need to be mindful about doing that pretty much every time. You need to be mindful about if you take your clothes off, where did you put your clothes? You know,
You leave things lying around, you might trip on them.
you might trip on
all
them.
those things. Yeah, there's a lot.
They could become hazards.
Uh-huh.
On the other hand, if you throw your candy wrapper behind the bed,
Which I kept doing. It was my protein bars. I go, well, if I throw it under the bed, I won't have to be dealing with it until after the course is over. So, which is normally something I wouldn't do. So, we're going to keep doing this. 20 years ago, I went to my first Vipassana meditation course, not knowing what was going to happen, what was going to come out of it. And here I am, nearly 100 courses later, and has radically not only altered the course of my existence, but the course of many people's existence for the better. And I have a sense about this, that this has similar implications. This has the potential of becoming something that can become a regular part of what we do in guiding people through deep meditative transformational experiences.
Basically, the night before we're prepping, we just looked up a couple YouTube or websites about coming out. And the funny thing is, we didn't find anything. So we thought we didn't find anything about coming out. So we just assumed probably you can just come out.
It's pretty easy, no?
we came out immediately. The first thing, I was one who came out. I just opened the top door so a little light could start shining into our room. And I'm walking up. I had my blindfold on because I didn't want, even though we hadn't found anything, I didn't want to get blasted with light. And all I can see is just right under my blindfold, I can kind of see the stairs and the light shining on them. And they are moving completely, like being in a fun house at a carnival. Just, and for, I would say about 48 hours,
wow,
both of us had some lag in our vision. You know, you're looking around and this doesn't focus, and blah, 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 blah. So, so it could be disconcerting, almost some nausea, like motion sickness, and pretty psychedelic.
So don't go out and operate heavy equipment or go
no driving.
Not driving down the freeway.
That's no driving. I would say give yourself if you're doing 10 days, give yourself 48 hours.
To adjust, yes.
Yeah, in a calm space with hopefully diffused lighting, and you can just kind of come at it in your own way and be perceptive of where your skills are at that moment.
Yeah. 48 hours is probably a good time to get yourself back to normal.
I had definitely felt ready to come out of darkness for multiple days.
We had been in a completely black environment, and we come out and we're in a completely white environment. Not only was there snow covering everything, but there was a fog that had blankets, so it was diffused light, and it was very useful. And we came out late in the afternoon, so it was nice to go into the night. And it was snowing. And so, yeah, it was really nice coming out into purely the light. Also, we planned this around the solstice. The shortest day of the year was the day we started. And by the time we came out, it was time for the new year. So sort of capping off the calendar year and the lunar year, if you will, or the solar year, with 10 days in darkness, and now coming out into 2022 into the light, and with a deeper experience of the light within. Yeah. So.
I think it's always so exciting coming out of a 10-day course, however we're doing it. It takes a meaningful amount of commitment to get through one of these things, and it feels like graduation. Every time it feels, we did that. Thank God it's over. We'll do it again. But thank God we're not doing it again right now.
Yes.
Like I said, there's a joy, a celebration, an exuberance, a gratitude, a newfound gratitude for having a lit existence. Yeah, it's fun. It's a party. It's kind of party day.
Yeah. So overall, a very positive experience, one which we will do again, and we will probably guide other people through as well. I think this is going to become part of our repertoire because it is deep, it is meaningful, it is significant, it is taking our practice to a whole new level. was about any of that. But, hey, we're doing this. We can do it this way. Let's do it this way and have a richer, deeper experience.